But I request all of you, those who came from a long distance and other state also, kindly give a suggestion what to do, how to improve the homeopathic, how to proceed the homeopathic. We try a level best to solve the problem. We also talk with the Chief Minister, Health Minister, even the central government, even the other state minister also, those of the other end of state, to come with a picture to highlight the homeopathic. Because those are needy person, they are very much rely the homeopathic. I am the MLA from villages, but those are living in villages, they are believe in homeopathic. Even though I am not a homeopathic doctor, but I have a homeopathic book also in my house. Those anything prescribed, I give the suggestion also. Maximum 30, this is the going on. So it is our approach to them to kindly do that honestly and kindly. This is not in the world, this is not in India, but you test in the world also. This is my humble request to. I think you try your level best, and this conference, this seminar, not in confined in this room. This is not confined, but spread in the other also. And going to your state, you will say, this is the homeopathic, whoever take this decision, or try level best. It is their duty, and try to help those who the poor men, those the poor person, try to help them, because really we are inside of the poor men. Those who are big men, there is a rich man, they give the money. But those are poor men, they cannot give the money. But I know you are servicing them also, but you take it more than this society, this world, you will not in the confined in this room. This is the inspired the India also. Thank you. I hope those are coming from the long distance from attend the meeting. I think next time, if any organized in the Kolkata, then you will come to here, and I will try our level best to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your encouraging words. I shall now request Dr. S.P.S. Bakshi, ex-President Homai, to please say a few words.
Before I speak, I want to pay respect to Dr. Bhinder Singh, our senior most homeopath today, who died recently. May I request all of you to stand for 2 minutes out of respect for Dr. Bhinder Singh. Can you please all get up for 2 minutes?
Please.
Because he was a person who decided this hall, and he was a former president of Hamai also. Thank you. Good afternoon to everybody. I will not be taking name of all the dignitaries sitting here, because everybody has taken the name and we're already late. First of all, before I start, I must congratulate Bengal for hosting this wonderful 18th Congress. It is going to be a historic conference, looking at the attendance of 3,000 people all over the country and abroad. You see, today when I came here, when I saw the photographs of Dr. Jugal Kishore, Dr. Dewan Harishchand, Dr. Bhinder Singh, and all the senior homeopaths who are gone, I was talking to Dr. Khanna that we are the two people left from Hamai as the past president. Rather three. Dr. Bhattacharya is also very old. He is in Patna. जो कल था वो आज है, जो आज है वो बच्चे कल आके इसको संभालेंगे. The show is going on, but we are still remembering the good days we had with Dr. Sogi, Dr. Minder Singh. You see, we have seen difficult periods in Hamai also. We have seen good periods also. Today I see the evolution of homeopathy from Bengal. It has picked up very well again, and now we are working with all the associations to work jointly to make a federation, to make homeopathy the first line of treatment among masses. You know, homeopathy has picked up so beautifully. In my tenure in 18 and a half years as a president of the council, I had only 84 colleges. Today we have got 185 and 39 degree colleges, and now PhD has started. And today, no doubt, Bengal is a leader, mother of homeopathy, because it started from me, my father also, and all the stalwarts in the country today who are here, who have gone, have taken education from Bengal. So Bengal holds a very important position for homeopathy, and from here, it has spread to all over the country. Today, as rightly said by other speakers, it is the second largest practiced science in the world. But please understand, no science is complete, neither allopathy is complete, neither homeopathy is complete, neither Ayurveda or Unani. Every science has got scopes and limitations. And homeopathy, no doubt, is becoming popular. It is becoming popular not because of its merits alone, but people are running from allopathy towards homeopathy to take shelter, especially in diseases of allergies. Today, if you see, when I talk about allergies, it has become #1 disease in the world. Today we see people walking on the street. I call them walking pathological labs. Everybody on the street, show me one patient who is not suffering from skin, respiratory, stomach, joints. Mothers come to us that my child is suffering from asthma. And this is all because of allergies, and whenever there is respiratory problem, the skin problems have to come. Skin, respiratory play a very important role in your life. And the third allergy group is stomach and arthritis group. What I want to say is, homeopathy has a wonderful answer for all these problems. When the mothers come to us, कि हमारे बच्चे को अस्थमा है, इसका inhaler बंद करा दीजिए, and you think allopathy has a treatment? Absolutely no. Within 4 to 6 weeks, maximum 8 weeks, majority of our patients feel better in asthma. And finally, with the passage of time, when you build up immunity with homeopathy, asthma is controlled and eradicated. Now, whenever you have asthma, the second area I have talked about skin, eczema, psoriasis, pimples, lichen planus. Do you think allopathy has the answer? Again, no. This is the area where homeopathy has beautiful answer. And we have a huge, huge virgin market in front of us. You talk about arthritis, where I talk about arthritis, this is also endogenic allergy. It is hereditary. And whenever you talk about arthritis, it is divided into 2 groups, you know it. When the pain is here, it's called frozen shoulder, tennis elbow, golf elbow, slip disc, and myalgia is the pain, the muscles, fasciitis, tendinitis. All are inflammatory diseases. And कभी जोड़ों का दर्द आपने लेबर क्लास में देखा है? Never. If you give homeopathy, you see, you must understand, as Hahnemann has said, as Gandhiji has said, it is not homeopathy which will fail. It will fail by the faulty prescriptions of the followers. Homeopathy never fails. As Gandhiji has said, my non-violence never fails, so does homeopathy. It will never fail. Same Rabindranath Tagore has said, same Shastriji has said, and Shastriji has said, who was the former Prime Minister of the country, that homeopathy is a need of the hour. It should be spread to door so that homeopathy becomes a healthy generation and becomes the first line of treatment among the masses. Again, I'm repeating what our predecessors have said, that we have to encourage, we have to work for homeopathy, and Bengal has taken the lead. We need more government dispensaries, we need good education, and today we are very happy to say that homeopathy is becoming the first line of treatment. Thank you very much for your patience here. I won't take a long time because we are already late. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I shall now request Professor Dr. Ajoy Rai, Vice Chancellor, Bengal Engineering and Science University, to please say a few words.
Honorable Dr. V.C. Acharya, President Homai, Dr. Ramji Singh, President CCH, Dr. Shamul Mukherjee, Secretary General Homai, very distinguished members of the homeopathy community in India, ladies and gentlemen, and my very dear students. I am indeed very happy to be here with you on this great occasion of 18th All India Homeopathy Congress in 2012. I am not a person from homeopathy community, but I always had a lot of interest to understand what it is, mainly from scientific point of view, because as all of us we observe that this is a science which really cures. There's no doubt that it cures. So if it cures, then what is the scientific basis of it? In my opinion, this very question could not be answered by most of the people who are working in this area. That is how a medicine works. So one has to really do a lot of research for this, like say some of the things like as the potency increases, beyond 12x, according to Avogadro hypothesis, you do not have any molecule of the parent medicine. So if you do not have any molecule present, then how does it work? What is the functional mechanism from biophysical point of view, from biochemical point of view? So a lot of research is indeed needed. And this is one thing to my younger generation, my very dear students and researchers in homeopathy. Please take up this very case. Unless you know the physical and the chemical basis of homeopathy medicine, and especially its interaction with the cells at the cellular level. For example, if there is any genetic mutation that it does, how does it do it? And truly whether it goes into that level or not. So this is possible only when there is a combination of those who are working in homeopathy and those who are working in other branches of physics, chemistry, mathematics, even technology, and obviously those who are with hardcore different bioscience groups. So it is only in combination, not in isolation. I have always believed one thing, and that is what Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore had repeatedly pointed out, that the knowledge space cannot be partitioned. He said in one of his very fundamental, very popular poems, চিত্ত যেথা ভয় শূন্য উচ্চ যেথা শির জ্ঞান যেথা মুক্ত যেথা গৃহের প্রাচীর আপন প্রাঙ্গণতলে দিবস সর্বরি বসুধারে রাখে নাই খণ্ড ক্ষুদ্র করি. You cannot partition the space of knowledge. Ultimate objective is to cure a person. Why homeopathy became so popular? It is because of its philosophy. The philosophy that you cannot apply any kind of medicine that acts in the contrary. Rather, the whole philosophy was very different, and it was so challenging when Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, when he first conceived and when he first talked about it. We are very happy that his 7th generation descendant is out here today. He has come all the way from Germany to be here in Kolkata on this occasion. So this basic idea, this formulation, that was really fantastic. And if you just go through even the Indian, those Vedic literature, we had in India this whole concept of Shamo-Shamoyanti, that is you have to cure by providing the medicine which just does not directly contradict, do not give antacid to stop the passage of acidity, because it will manifest otherwise. So even if there is any genetic mutation which it does, then how does it do it? And then for that kind of a rapid mutation process, whether it will come up in any other form at a future time. The whole concept of, so beyond 12x, I mean, when even according to Avogadro hypothesis, we may not be having a molecule, yet it works with very high potency and everybody knows about it. So what is that basic fundamental physics, the biophysics, the electromagnetics of homeopathy medicine? More and more research is needed. As a matter of fact, we had made little bit of, from various studies. Today in the afternoon you will find a very interesting talk by Dr. Bellare on nanomedicine. I am not sure if he has already come. I'm sure that he has come. Okay, so that will be a very interesting, topic on which he will be speaking. And I'm sure that tomorrow and in 21st century, homeopathy will have its own say. And I will not be surprised if maybe that 2 decades from today, the Nobel Prize in Medicine goes for the first time to a homeopath. And we are all waiting for that day. With all these things and with very best wishes to each one of you, I was really amazed to see 3,000 people, the whole Science City Auditorium was full on this great occasion. And I really, when I see such a huge gathering of young people and under the guidance of the experienced ones, always as teachers, this reinforces our conviction that the country is truly progressing in the right path. Thank you.
Mr. President, Deputy President and officers of the Association, organisers and advisors, fellow speakers, delegates, sponsors and honoured dignitaries. I am very pleased to be present in Kolkata and thank you for the opportunity to represent the Hahnemann family at the All India Homeopathic Congress. I'd also like to thank Dr. Jawahar Shah and Dr. Shashi Sharma, who have been looking after me and keeping life interesting. Next, please. That's it. I hope the pictures are reasonably clear. Some of them might be a little difficult, but and the next one, please. What I hope to do is just run through the family and tell you something of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann's and my line of the family. If I can have the next slide, please. I will try and give you some idea of where he grew up and developed the philosophy and practice of homeopathy, and I ask you to follow the pictures that illustrate my talk. I'm sorry, the family tree is very difficult to follow. I do apologise. As far as I am concerned, I am the great, 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 great grandson of Samuel Hahnemann. I am not a homeopathic practitioner as such, but I do endorse the homeopathic principle and try to represent homeopathy and its practice when appropriate. The next slide, please. Given the time restriction, I will not detail too much of Samuel Hahnemann's life, as it is well documented. But he was born in Meissen on the 10th of April, 1755, and his father was a skilled painter in the famous Meissen porcelain factory. He was educated in Meissen before broadening his knowledge at various universities and beginning his travels around Germany, eventually ending in Paris, in France. It was his educated mind and the prevailing state of health and medical practice that made him question and criticize many of the medical methods used at that time. The origins of modern homeopathic practice were formulated by the thoroughness of his research and trials or provings, allied to his attention to detail and documentation of his medical experiences. He was a forerunner of much of today's standards of medical practice, not just homeopathy. The next slide, please. This is a picture of Johanna. This is his wife and bore his children. My family involvement descends from Amelie, who was Samuel and Johanna's fourth surviving child, and she was the favourite child of Dr. Hahnemann and was the only one of his children who attended his funeral in Paris in 1843 with her son, Leopold Suss Hahnemann. Next slide, please. Leopold Suss Hahnemann was a qualified doctor and moved to England, and he practiced homeopathy in London. He married twice and had 5 children, and he died in the Isle of Wight in 1914. Next slide, please. These were his 2 daughters, of which the younger, Amelie, or Amelia, is the line from which I am descended. And he also had 1 child, a son, next slide please, who is named Leopold. That will become a little obvious later on why I've picked that slide. Both sisters married and had families living in England, so there was quite a Hahnemann connection and community in England. And the next slide, please. Okay, that is a picture of Amelie, and the next slide, please. And that's another one. These are pictures to show the different style of dress and everything else that applied around the 1900s. And the next one. Amelie married my great-grandfather, who was Herbert Stanley Sugden, and the next one as well. And this is a picture. In those days in the United Kingdom, a lot of people went to France in the winter because it was warmer, and that's exactly where that picture is taken. Amelie was his youngest daughter, and she married Herbert Stanley Sugden. They had 2 children, Herbert Cecil, who was my godfather, and Winifred Maud, who was my grandmother. Next slide, please. She married, yes, that's Winifred Maud. And the next one, please. She married William Percy Tankard, and they had 1 son, my father, William Herbert, and he married my mother in 1949. My mother is called Beth. And I was born in 1950. And I also have 1 sister who was born in 1954, who's called Sally. Next slide, please. So we'll just pick up, that's my father. And the next one, that's Beth, my mother. And the next one, please. And we will move straight on to the next one as well. I was married in 1975 to Bron. And we have 3 sons, David, John, and Michael. And the next 3, please. That's myself. And the next one. And those are my children. And the next one. And the next one. We'll keep moving quite fast. I now have 2 grandsons. Tobias, or Toby, who was born just after my father died. And very recently born on the 9th of December this year, the second one, who is Leopold, and obviously ties back into the Leopold of the early stages of the family. And the next one, please. Okay, this is a slide. I'm now going to talk about a trip to Germany if I get the time. This is a picture of Hahnemann's home. We went over there in 2010 along with my mother, and we went to Meissen and the surrounding area in German Saxony. That's where Samuel Hahnemann grew up. There is a memorial bust and plaque in the area where the Hahnemann family lived and was born. Unfortunately, the site now is under a road. I'm afraid that's what progress brings. And the next slide, please. That's his bust. And the next slide. Those are the plaques on the wall. Okay. I'll have to, okay. Okay. Also, if we have the next slide, please, there is a commemorative statue at St. Nikolai Church. That was the family's local parish church, and it's also the porcelain church. That's what it's known as, and that contains a number of Mycene porcelain plaques commemorating those who were lost in the war, as well as a number of white porcelain statues. And that's the next slide, please. And the next one. Okay. If we go on to the next slide as well, Samuel Hahnemann grew up in Meissen, and the actual town has not changed an awful lot. If we have the next slide, please. That's a picture in 1744. And the next slide, please. And the next slide. The first one there was his birthplace. Now we have Meissen. 13th century town hall, and also some bells on the church in the market square. And the last one, please. The next slide. Those are just pictures of Meissen as they are today with the street. It also shows the big castle. And on the bottom slide there, it's right at the back. That's one of the schools that he attended. And that school has, I'm going to move quickly. Well, I can't find it now. Yes. That has the motto, Sapere Aude, above the main door, which is dare to know. And that's really what Samuel Hahnemann did. He dared to know about other things and did not accept what was just there in front of him. I have to move through quite quickly. If we can just have the next slide, please. The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is, Hahnemann moved 20 times in 20 years with his family, which is quite a lot. And he arrived in Torgau in 1805 to 1811. So these are pictures of one of the happiest times of his life, and it shows the house where he lived. So if you just, and the next one, and the next one. This is the inside of the house, finding the wall and the wall painting. And the next one, that was his study. And the next one. Okay. And the next one as well, please. Okay, he also received some memorabilia. These were either gifts that were given to him during his time. There's a lovely cabaret set, which is the top one. This was a presentation. There's a Meissen plate and one or two other things with medallions that were given to him. I think what I can do now, if we can just have the next slide, please. These were presents that were given to him, and the next one as well, please. Yeah, I'm going to try and finish. That's a letter that was sent to a patient, and the last one, and the next one, please. And there's some signatures that he had. No, I'm sorry, I can't help that. Okay, there were some other things I was going to say, but can we have the next slide, please? Yeah, that's just on his grave in Paris, there is the engraving Non inutilis vixi, I have not lived in vain, and that undoubtedly has proved correct. The international acceptance of his philosophy and clinical notation is proof of the belief in his practice and what he stood for in the world of healing and helping mankind with holistic medical practice. I thank everyone here for their belief in homeopathy and attending this Congress. We are all friends in the homeopathic family. And I'm pleased that I have been able in my time to be the chief patron of the Hahnemann College of Homeopathy in the UK, and helping to provide education for others around the world. I hope that this Congress will be a grand success, and I leave you with this saying of Samuel Hahnemann, Similia similibus currentur. Thank you very much.
Respected President, other dignitaries on the dais, my colleagues, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, it is not possible nowadays to attend any seminar or meeting because of my illness. I am physically not fit. But today I had to come because the organizers requested me to anyhow be present here today. That's why I had to yield to their request. I cannot disagree with the Homoeopathic members. I am indebted to Homoeopathic as also late Dr. Kanjilar.
आपके पास होगा मतलब ये आप लोगों को
Dr. Kanjilar once told me in a seminar, Dr. Dey, don't spend whole of your time in private practice only. Try to attend seminars as far as possible. Since then, till today, I used to try to follow his advice. Homeopathy has improved to a great extent in many respects, like preparation of medicine, preservation, dispensing, and so on. Clinical research centers are running all over India at different places. But there are still many things to do. Homeopathy believes in the highest ideal of cure. That is, a cure should be rapid, gentle, permanent, and on easily comprehensible principle. Well, if we persist or stick to the principles of homeopathy, then effect is sure to follow. My colleagues, it is my earnest appeal, let us practice true homeopathy or Hahnemannian homeopathy by sticking to our basic principles. Then more success and more better days are to be followed. With these words, I beg leave of you. Thank you all very much for your patient hearing to spending some of your valuable time. Thanks.
Central Council of Homeopathy, Dr. Roy, Vice Chancellor, Dr. P. Murthy, President Federation and President of IIHP, and all my seniors and friends on the dais. I, on behalf of Homeopathic Medical Association of India, highly thankful for all of you to take that much of pains and trouble in spite of lot of odds. And only on our one request, you have all make it convenient to come over here. I, on behalf of HMAI, thank you everybody and overall, especially our delegates and our senior lecturers, professors, teachers and college principals who has made it convenient to come over here. I am highly thankful to the persons sitting on the dais, especially our seniors whom we have felicitated today. We are highly thankful to them that they have taken pains and agreed to our request and have come over here. I am highly thankful to past presidents of HMAI, Dr. Bakshi, Dr. Khanna, and all my seniors. And I am sure that by the blessings of you all, HMAI will flourish in not only in India, but the homeopathics of India will flourish throughout the world through your united effort. I am just anxious to bring to you a kind notice that today again we are going to have a meeting in the evening of Federation of Associations of Homeopathic Organizations of India today, and we are trying to just come at one platform. I once again thank on behalf of Homeopathic Medical Association of India, the largest organization of this entire fraternity, homeopathic fraternity. Thank you.
Of this event I'm deeply indebted and very grateful to the organizers of this event to allow me to come and present the results of my work. I am not connected to the medical profession directly in any way, let alone an homeopath. Therefore, it's my great pleasure to be able to talk to you on some of the work that we are doing. And this work is work that is purely curiosity driven, and that's how I actually got into this. And along with me are the colleagues who you see in the photograph here, and the main one amongst them is Prashant Chikarmane, the first photograph, who's the student working on this. Therefore, I appeal to students in this audience to take on challenging problems of the sort that I'll talk about. So there are three main points that I will touch upon in my presentation. One is to give you the background, which is perhaps well known to most of you, and that problem has already been mentioned by Vice Chancellor Roy earlier, and that relates to the Super Avogadro dilution problem. The second point we make solves this problem, at least for one class of medicines, and we show that despite Super Avogadro dilutions, nanoparticles do remain in the system. And third, which is new, is we demonstrate a scientific understanding of the process of manufacture of these homeopathic medicines and how item number 3 explains item number 2. So that's the gist of my talk, and I've been told that we are on a time leash, therefore I might skip through or move a little quickly. Please excuse me for that. I hope my slides are clear. We'll be looking at some micrographs on the screen. This LCD screen seems to be a little poor resolution. So the effect of nanoparticles in general in the field of science and technology, and particularly in the field of modern medicine, is well known. They play an important biological effect, and there are in fact several effects. There are these 6 effects which dominate how nanoparticles act, and it's important to understand these because it turns out that these effects are exploited not only by modern medicines, but thanks to our research work, we find that these effects seem to be exploited by other systems of medicine as well. And that is, these nanoparticles can evade an immune response. So the body oftentimes does not mount an immune response, and therefore they can cross barriers of various sorts. They can slip through cell junctions and reach tissues that other medicines cannot. Nano-textured surfaces also biointegrate, that is, they join well to cells. And in drug delivery, which is very important, is that they can deliver fairly large aliquots of material compared to molecular solution. And for tuberous tissues, there is a phenomenon of enhanced permeation and retention, or the EPR effect, which allows medicines to be delivered to tumors very effectively. And these are very well exploited by modern nanomedicines. On the other hand, alternative and traditional systems of medicines are often considered controversial by modern scientists, simply because they are not really studied in the context of modern science, nor are they validated by standards of modern medicine. So this often suppresses open discussion in and amongst modern scientists. But we find that if we take this challenge head on, it could well result in new science and new materials being discovered, as we have done now. Now the main tool that I use is microscopes, right? Microscopy and electron microscopes are the main tool, and they're very important because nanotechnologists use them extensively. And it turned out that we had these tools in our nanotechnology expertise, and electron microscopy is a very powerful tool to study a variety of materials and devices that are used in medicine. Let me give you some examples here. These are examples which include homeopathic medicines and other medicinal systems too, mostly modern medicinal systems. So the first one, for example, which I hope you can read, talks about micro devices for cardiac surgery. So here we are working with cardiac surgeons to make minimally invasive devices which are based on nanomaterials. Turns out nanomaterials are very effective in causing certain actions. In this case, we promote the thrombogenic action, which causes holes in hearts to be closed very easily and very effectively. There are bone graft materials that we make as nanocomposites, and these are for dental and orthopedic use. We deliver drugs, modern drugs, through the eye for ocular cancers. We make quantum dots based on green chemistry and use them for diagnostic purposes. We've been looking at nanoparticles in both traditional and alternative systems of medicine. We make nanostructured hollow fibers for superior performance in kidney dialysis, and also use them as bioreactors and scaffolds, 3D scaffolds for stem cell growth and regeneration. So this is a gamut of activities that we do, and these are activities that have arisen in my lab simply because of our interaction with various friends from the medical community. Various doctors and surgeons with whom we've had the good fortune of collaborating have led us to this sort of work. As an example, let me give you just one from modern medicine or allopathic medicine. We made a nano form of carboplatin, which is a very effective anti-cancer drug for various types of cancer, but particularly for the eye cancer or for retinoblastoma. And now this has gone on to a stage of first in human trials. We are analyzing the data, which shows that nanocarboplatin is very effective in reaching the retina, which is protected by the same blood-brain barrier that protects the brain, which also protects the retina. So based on this collaboration with the medical fraternity, we have in sequence also looked at medicines that arise in traditional medicinal systems, that is in Ayurvedic forms of medicine, which I will not talk about, but our basis was first allopathic, then it was Ayurvedic, and now we have taken on as a challenge, and this challenge arose simply by people like you who have come to us saying that, hey, this is an interesting problem, why don't you look at it? So our curiosity was sufficiently aroused that we took this on as a challenging problem. So let me tell you what we've actually done here. So what we've done in homeopathy is to do a physico-chemical characterization of certain homeopathic medicines. We have not looked at the medicinal aspects because we are not experts in that area. You are, and I hope we will be able to join our research work together through the sort of collaborations I've already talked to you about. And what we've done essentially is to understand this super Avogadro dilution problem, which I shall of course explain in a moment. And lately, and this is new, is we've understood the process of manufacture and how it relates to the super Avogadro dilution. This is an important processing aspect which we have studied in the last year or so. So the problem that we all appreciate is that when modern scientists look at homeopathic system of medicine, they all accept that it is, of course, evidence-based at the patient-doctor level, but it is not evidence-based at the molecular science level because of the problem of the atomistic theory of matter and the serial dilutions that are used, which fall against against the well-established and well-accepted Avogadro's theory and the molecular and atomistic theory of matter. Nor is it evidence-based at a cell biology level. Therefore, there are problems of modern science and scientists accepting it, but often it is true that many modern scientists do, in their personal lives, do accept this as a valid system of medicine. The process of manufacture is, of course, well known, and I'll go into detail later on, but for metal-based homeopathic medicines, metals are ground along with lactose, and then they are added to a solvent, and there is a series of successive dilutions which eventually gives the medicine. And this sequence of dilutions can be repeated 6, 30, or 200, or even more times, giving rise to medicines of potency 6C and so on. The basic question that arises is that how does this process of manufacture explain the kind of results that we see? So first let me explain to you what the results are. And the background to this is that most homeopathic medicines are ultra-high dilutions, and dilutions are far beyond Avogadro's number. So for example, 30C medicine is 10 to the 60 dilution, and a 200C medicine is 10 to the 400 times dilution of a starting material. So even if you started out with a mole, which is a fairly large quantity of material which has 10 to the 24 atoms or molecules in it, by the time you dilute it 10 to the 400 times, the possibility of having any original atom in the final product is statistically nil. It so happened that nobody actually bothered to look for these starting materials in the final product. So it was our good fortune that we decided to look for it, and therefore the presence of physical entities which were never visualized was something that we could visualize. Therefore, prior to our work, the theories associated with retention of structure based on the solvent, that is the liquid memory theories, and a slew of other theories based on local energetics were postulated, but they were never really verified. There is no easy way of verifying those, perhaps because they are difficult to verify, or perhaps maybe because they are not true. However, what we find is that based on our findings, we do not even need to invoke any memory theory. We are able to explain this simply on a very materialistic basis. There are other issues with respect to clinical trials also, which I will not get into because we have not addressed those either in our work. Our work has been published and peer-reviewed in the journal Homeopathy, and most lately our first paper has been accepted last week in a mainstream science journal, the American Chemical Society's journal Langmuir, which is a very high-impact, very well-regarded journal of surface science and technology, which explains the process of manufacture. So our work has now received recognition outside the homeopathic mainstream, where of course it is reasonably well known, and now it is being accepted even by modern scientists who critique this sort of work. So, like I said before, what we have done is to understand from a physico-chemical viewpoint what these homeopathic medicines are. And these medicines that we have studied are all metal-based medicines, and we did not make them. We bought them from reputed suppliers, and we bought them at 3 different potencies from their authorized distributors or dealers, and we used them as it is. These were liquid tinctures that we used. And the main tool that we used was an electron microscope of the sort that you see here. Now, an electron microscope, very simply, is a very high magnification instrument that gives you photographs, and the photographs are of this sort. There are 3 types of photographs that you can get from an electron micrograph. So this is a photograph of the sample. You can think of it as an ID picture of the sample. The first one on the top left shows you a standard image, which is called a bright field image. It shows that there are particles in it. The one on the top right is called a dark field image. In this, we see crystallites which might be present within each particle. So one particle may consist of more than one crystallite, and that's what's shown in that star-like pattern, which is in the top right. The lower figure shows another mode of operation of the microscope, which is an electron diffraction pattern, and that gives a fingerprint or a very characteristic